So we're doing a series on hearing God, and this is part 1 of 4. And so today I have Bryce with us, and he is the Jesus Burger House overseer. He's been overseas in the Middle East for a year on missions. He loves Jesus. He loves people well. And so I just thought it'd be awesome just to talk today just casually about what it's like to hear the voice of God. And so Bryce, if you would just share with us a little about that journey and how you've grown in hearing God's voice, what that is like. Is that available for everyone today? Just kind of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I was first introduced to it by Isla Vista Church, by Bethel Church in Redding. They came by when I was in college, and I was very skeptical because I grew up in a church where that wasn't really talked about, and like other things like that wasn't really talked about. So I was just watching them and just very much like, all right, what is going on? I don't know if I believe any of this stuff. And they had this time where they went upstairs to go like prophesy over each other, and I was like, okay, what is this? So I go upstairs to kind of like just like test it and see if any of it's real. Then all of a sudden they start saying these things and these specific things over people's life, and people start crying, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like okay, maybe this is real. So then over the next few years I start reading the Bible, which is a good place to do it if you really want to know what to do in this life, and talking with people like Jason and other people, and so when I saw the Bible, I see that God has been speaking to people throughout all of human history, like from the beginning of time when he talked to Adam and talked to Eve, till the prophets, to everybody in the Old Testament, where it was like very audible, and then to the New Testament where it was like, where it's all like Holy Spirit, where a lot of it is very like this still small voice. And so I feel like that's a lot of where I hear God, is in this like still small voice. I remember the first time I was meeting with Jason upstairs in his house, and he's just asking me just the question of, what does God think of you? And then I remember answering that, and then Jason asked me to hear God for him.
Yep, you nailed it, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. Yeah.
So was that like, would you suggest that to someone who maybe isn't that comfortable with hearing God? Just ask God questions, or even that question, was that good for you?
Yeah, I feel like that really worked out, because God is probably gonna say good things about you.
Yep. Yeah. And for you, like, have you found yourself maturing in that over the years, being in the Middle East, being on mission there, like having to like being in a culture where you're not as comfortable? I mean, was that something that you relied more on? Like, man, I need to hear God for these people.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely had to like really sit and ask God, like, what is your heart for this culture? What is your heart for these people? And so now I've grown a lot in it, because I just like practice everything.
It's become a lifestyle more.
Yeah.
I love it. And then you would say all believers can hear the voice of God? Everyone can hear God's voice?
Yeah, if you got the Holy Spirit in you.
I love it. So it doesn't have to be some like big old mystical thing. Yeah. It's just like he cares. He's a father who cares about your life and every detail of it. Yeah. That's awesome. And any last thing you would want to say just to encourage people on this journey of hearing God?
Yeah, if you talk with how do you have a good relationship with your father? Is that you talk with him. You can't just say things to your dad. You just gotta wait for him to say things back to you.
Super good. Love it. And that was Bryce just sharing about hearing God and his journey with this life of faith, as we're all just growing to trust God more, but also to hear God more for ourselves, but also for others. So thank you, Bryce. Really appreciate it, man. It was awesome.
Woo! Paper covers rock.